Hello, everyone. Today I have a very, very special guest, a huge influence, an absolutely incredible motivator, and just a real mitochondria for the animal liberation movement. It is my great honor to present to you Brian, animal activist. Hey, there he is.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Matt. It's
Thank
great.
you. It is an honor, a pleasure. I see we are live on my little channel. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's just finally great to see you actually talk to you. I see your videos. You know what I admire most about activists is those that when they're alone, they can still get out there and stand in front of people and speak up. So I really admire that. It takes a lot. I know it takes a lot of courage, from inside, especially when you get a group of people around you too. So it's an honor to come on here, and hopefully we can encourage other people watching, maybe some vegans watching that want to get out and speak up for animals. This is my goal, So thanks for having me on.
Certainly, certainly. It's a great goal. Yeah, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I like I told you I just something's off about me today. I did this video where I threw up. I pretended to be a non-vegan trying vegan food for the first time. So I took some broccoli and made myself throw up.
Right.
So yeah, just I may not be matching your energy, but I'll definitely do my best. Maybe I'll sort of let you lead, so to speak.
Oh, sure.
So, is
Yeah.
there anything on your mind? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I see you've got around 200 subscribers. And do you know most of them? Are they
It's actually
activists?
going up about one subscriber a day right now for the last week. So yeah,
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
it's it's just a matter of how much I put into it.
Okay. Your voice was breaking up just a little bit there, but I can hear you okay. And it depends on you've got a good internet connection where you're at right now. Okay.
That's all it is. Yeah, but I find that I just want to focus on quality content right now,
Okay.
and at some point in time, sooner or later, there will be sort of like a burst, and everybody will flood in. I know a lot of YouTube channels never really take off, but the ones that do, it's not an overnight thing. So I'm just focusing on the content right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, I do have my own YouTube channel. It's Brian Animal Activist. I mean, if people want to search, they can do. I actually have over like 300 and I think 385 videos that I've put together. Some of them are outreaching on the streets, some are at farm sanctuaries, and some of the videos are for religious people. I do a lot of videos using AI, which I'm so glad I watched your presentation the other night on AI. I didn't know you could just ask Gemini, create me this. I know it's like talking to a baby artist, but it gets there, and I can use those images. And I don't know if I can share the screen, but yeah, I made some yesterday that came out really good that I'm putting into one of my next videos. So I mean, you can make anything you want. I typed into I went to the Leonardo one that you mentioned as well, and the Leonardo I said, draw me a picture, a realistic, of a cow, a dog, and a pig holding a sign saying we want to be free, and and then I said change the background to prison bars. It made that little change for me, and the picture came out great. I'm going to put that in my next video. So, and these are all free sites, and I know each one of these AI, like Gemini, is limited per day. Copilot's limited. Leonardo's limited, but it resets the next day. So when you've got access to all these different AI tools, you can just keep going and going and going. And keep making them.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It's a beautiful
So, do you have access to the so you can see yourself live right now? I want you to listen to your own voice because maybe your microphone's not working so well.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's see here. I'll test this out. Sorry, anyone watching. Just.
And I can probably pull you up on my TV as well. So. If you just say something.
Yeah, I can tell.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, I can tell what you're laying down. It is just a quality issue. I have.
It's working great now. So whatever you do,
Okay.
fixed
It's
it.
really just the hardware I'm working with. Yeah, it's. I can tell your voice sounds highly professional.
Yeah,
mine is like
it's because I'm using this Blue Yeti, a Blue Yeti microphone, studio microphone. So
awesome. Yeah,
well,
great.
We build up these tools, slowly, But well, at least people can hear you a little better now as well. So hey, and I do apologize. I want to apologize in person for the first time.
Hey.
So I want to apologize in person. I haven't sent that item I was talking about yet. I still have it here.
Oh,
I'm going to get it in the mail ASAP. And if anyone's watching wondering what I'm talking about here, Street Vegan stands on the streets, puts himself in front of people, and does what a vegan is supposed to do, and speak up for them. So if you put yourself in the animal's position, wouldn't you want someone to be speaking up for you if you was going to be killed, you were suffering, you were in pain, agony? So I'm going to send this out to my friend here, Matt, and I'll show you how this kind of goes on. So we put this under whatever you're wearing, and I like to keep it kind of as close to my head height as I can, and then we put the backside right onto it. Or whatever you're wearing, you can put it wherever you want, and you'll find this when I turn this on at 1080p, it'll record for up to 8 hours, which when I'm out on the streets, I'm never there for 8 hours. So, this is perfect. You can lock it so you can't accidentally press the buttons, and it's just recording the whole time. And if anyone starts getting rude with you or starts threatening you, you can say, "Hey, I just want to let you know I'm recording this for your safety and mine." And they tend to calm down and back down a little bit, once they can see this. So I also think for when you stood on the streets as well, I have a couple of things that I recommend.
It's very smart. Any activist to record themselves for
I recommend you buy something like this, so you stand out, like an orange work vest.
Yeah.
Because this
awesome
really looks good on an orange work vest, right? It stands out too. But we use whatever tools we have. So I think you'll like this.
I love it. I love it. It's brilliant. That's a police body cam for activism. Very, very good.
Right, and then it does have a built-in memory, so you don't need an SD card or anything. So if the police come, they're probably going to want to confiscate it from you so they can review the evidence. Or you can actually go into Media Player and just play the video for them. But they usually like to take that evidence with them, But
yes,
put it back and shoot.
They delete it. I saw a few that are multi-camera systems. There's this one, Levo or Vivo, and it's 3 cameras for $1,000, and they all live stream to your platform of choice. So if, let's say, someone steals the camera or police take it, they cannot delete anything because it's already been uploaded to the internet, which is my ultimate goal. Because I can have 3 different angles, and an app on your phone lets you switch from like a POV perspective to something from one side to the other. And I think that's going to be the ultimate goal. Maybe even like a spy cam, but I feel like it's unethical to record people without their knowledge. It just feels really greasy, and I don't want to do that. But
I mean, the body cam that you're going to be wearing is for your safety and protection.
Exactly. It's literally to be like, hey, like, you know,
because I've had people when I'm wearing it, they say to me, "Are you recording?" I say, "I'm just wearing this for your safety and my safety." And
for quality and training purposes.
However, if you're having a great conversation with them and you think this footage is perfect for like a non-vegan to see online, you can ask them, say, "Hey, you mind if I upload this to YouTube?" Yeah. The only problem with the body cam one, it records the sound a little low, and if there's any kind of wind, forget it. Right.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Hey, let me grab
something.
I
love it. Thank you. Sure. Yeah, it is legal in Canada to record anyone for any reason at any time in any public space, so long as privacy is not assumed, such as a bathroom or maybe also children. Also, you don't want to be invasive in any way, sort of getting into someone's face and harassing them. But if you are in a public space, just like businesses, motorcyclists with the helmet cams, the police body cams, everyone is free to record in a public space, even in private, as long as one party consents to this, which can be yourself. Then you actually don't even have to disclose that you are recording. But that is for audio. So keep in mind that you cannot privately record people without their consent. Only the audio, you can record your entire life anywhere you are with audio. And that's actually something I would like to do, is just always have evidence in case something comes up.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad you're going to be able to use it. You know, so I actually switched my camera, and I do record outreach conversations. So later on, I can look through them and think, hey, maybe I can put some together here, and it might help other people online. So I changed my camera recently to this one. It's called the Insta360 X3. And it actually has a camera on both sides. So this actually records in 360. So it records everything all at once.
Wow.
So I don't even have to hold the camera at you to record you. I can be scratching my head or just waving it around in my hand, and I'm recording you perfectly. When I edit the software later, I just tell it to lock onto your face, and it's on you the whole time, even though I'm moving around. And it's in 4K, so it's a little expensive, but I actually put this on a tripod like this, and I leave it in my car, so maybe a few meters away in the car facing me, and then I have a wireless microphone that I hook up to this, and just clip the microphone on me, and off I go and stand on the sidewalk, and
great.
There you go. I've been recording.
I love it.
You know, so that's just some of the tools I use. I mean, the most important thing about standing on the street, and I'm sure you've experienced them, you might stand there all day and not one open-minded person stops.
Yep.
And you're like frustrated and thinking to yourself, why am I here? And then all of a sudden it happens. This one person turns up and goes, oh my gosh, Well, for me, I show slaughterhouse footage on the screen. And they look at the screen and they're like horrified. And then I use the anonymous for the voiceless approach, kind of holding them accountable, which I really like their approach. And I'm never going to change anyone, and I know that. But for the first time in their life, they're thinking a little differently with their eyes open, and they're going to go away, and they can't unwatch what they just saw. They might forget what I said, but they can't unwatch it. I know that. So that's my goal for standing out on the streets. And I see you on the street a lot, and I know you mentioned in one of your other videos you did a protest, and so you're doing other types of activism as well?
Yeah, I like to dabble with everything. I still haven't really found my niche. The whole vow of loudness is just a promise I made to the animals, to recite Gary Yourofsky's The Best Speech You'll Ever Hear to the public of my city. And that I find every about 20 minutes or so, someone comes in for a serious conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And within like maybe 2 hours of doing this, I get basically the same results as with like the TVs. However, I find the TVs are a better way to help people who are passing by understand what you are doing. And I find people are also very visual. That's why the AI artwork is such a great tool, because if this interaction we're having right now, this conversation, were just transcribed in a book or on like some kind of a blog where it's text, people wouldn't want to read it. But to just watch it, people are much more likely to pay attention. And it's the same with having a screen. People are more likely to look at the images, and they don't have to take that extra processing step of translating in their own mind the words that are being said through their imagination into an image. I, however, still do what I do because I know that it's just very rare, and it makes it that much more important to me, because some people do want to just sit down and enjoy the day and listen. And it's usually people off camera, which is why I want something that's sort of like what you had, where I can get my whole environment, because the people that do stay, they know I'm filming. I have a big laptop, and the showing like a mirror back to them that they're being filmed. So obviously a lot of people are a little insecure, a little camera shy, so they want to avoid that, and they'll just sit behind the laptop and they'll listen. And then when I present the video, sometimes I get critics saying, "Oh, like why are you there? Like nobody's even listening."
Right.
And the fact of the matter is, those people watch for 30 seconds. I promise you watch any one of my videos, every 20 minutes somebody engages with a serious question. And sometimes I have people just hanging out, and they hear the entire like transcript. So yeah, AI art is really good. The visuals for the screens are really good, and just getting out there and making an effort.
Hey, check your microphone again. It's making that weird noise.
Okay, it's unfixable, basically. I know what you mean. It almost it just stops, basically.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, we wait it out. Well, I wanted to show you. So my channel, I created the YouTube channel because I wanted to save all my conversations, all my videos, because my goal is obviously just to people to watch them. If one person watches, wow, I'm happy with one person. I don't care how many likes I get. I don't care if no one watches for the next 5 years. But in 5 years' time, maybe someone will go, "Oh my gosh, I never thought of that before." So that's the idea. So I have a whole bunch of signs that I got from different companies, and I actually made this one because this is my main goal. I'm trying to get people to watch the documentary Dominion. It's a real eye-opener to the hidden truth of the meat, egg, and dairy industry. So I had this one made. It was only like $25 to make this, and it's huge. You can see it there. It's
You have been lied to. WatchDominion.com. We will rise together.
right. So just holding this in the straight gets people asking questions because they think, "Watch Dominion, what is that?" Yeah, I know there's something out there called the Dominion machine, where they use for the voting in politics. So a lot of people think it's something related to that, but they haven't got a clue. So they normally ask.
Yeah.
And I tell them, if I'm not showing slaughterhouse footage, I'm going to say, well, you're going to have to watch it. I recommend watching it on a big TV and not on your phone, and make up your own mind because you've been lied to. You know, so that's my big one. $25.
Yeah. Anyone watching, you go to an office supply store like Staples.
Yeah, I used I think it's Office Depot to print it out for me, and it's on like a yard sign. And then I know a lot of people give a lot of negative thoughts. Any kind of activist, all these big companies come negatively against you, and the more powerful you get, the more louder your voice becomes, the more they attack you. Especially a company called PETA. They're getting attacked constantly. So I use PETA products. I get flyers from them, stickers from them, all kinds of stuff from them, posters. And it's one of my new favorite ones. Now, this definitely gets people talking. And a friend of mine said, why don't you cut out the word PETA? But I'm not going to cut it out because I'm going to speak up for them. You know, it's a lot of crap, the lies they tell about them. So meat is murder. This is a great conversational aspect. And then they printed this on the other side for me. Save 100 animals every year, go vegan. And I got 3 of these, $10. And they're huge. You know what I mean? So that's some of the signs. There's another one. Anyone can buy these. You go to PETA.org and then look through the literature and they're in there, you know.
Yeah, stickers you can put on products that are about to be purchased, right? Where a line post or something, and if you have friends, you have all these signs to go out with your friends, and they don't have to even,
Right. Yeah. Sometimes when I'm outreaching, I had a new guy that joined, and he's terrified to speak to anybody. He holds a sign the whole time. He's happy holding the sign, and he's listening. He's listening to me, and you know, and maybe one day he'll get out there and probably do it. You know, so that's the key there. So yes, sticker activism. I love that so much. I have so many stickers. Let me show you my favorite one. And I've only been bought from one store. I'm so sneaky at this. So I don't want to waste any. So I'm just gonna.
People are literally pushing the largest injustice imaginable onto the most vulnerable, innocent individuals. So don't feel bad about leaving a sticker. What does that say there? This package contains the decomposing corpse of a tortured animal. Disgusting.
Right.
Why would
so I used to do different things with this sticker. So I would just stick them right on the tops of so-called fake food, murdered animals. And so the staff see it and they pull them off. And it's pointless to do that. So there's a couple of different ways, techniques, best methods, I call it, that you can practice. So the first one is I go in the store prepared. It's either stuck on the inside of my jacket, ready to pull off, or it's in my hand, like kind of upside down, ready to go. So, you know, so they can't see it. And the couple of ways you can do it, you can just stick this under, you pick up the murdered flesh and stick it underneath and put it back down. And then when the
on
person gets home, the person gets home and they're opening the package and maybe they see it, maybe they won't. But if they see it, they're going to read it and think, just for a second, they're going to think my way. Just for a second. It's like kind of a guilt sticker because they're guilty, right? And a new one that I've been trying, and I think this is the best, and I wish I could capture this on camera. I cover the barcode completely. So when they get to the checkout, the self-service checkouts, it won't scan. So they're going to have to look through the packaging until they find it. They're going to read it and think, oh my gosh, and they even maybe call a member of staff over. They're going to read it too. And it goes on and on and on. So when I place this over a barcode, though, I kind of reach far back on the shelves and put it on something far back because maybe security are going to go through security cameras and rewind, fast forward, and try and find out who placed it. And I'm going to find me because that customer that picks this is probably a week away. You know, so that's my new one I'm doing with the stickers there. I think sometimes we've got to be creative, you know, and learn from our mistakes. So I did get a trespass order from Hy-Vee. I don't know if you have a Hy-Vee in Canada.
It's a supermarket?
Yeah, it's a supermarket. It's my mistake. I'm just placing them on top of everything. I have hundreds of different stickers like this, and I'm placing them all over the place. And one day, security grabbed me and you know, and took me out the store and tried to trespass me. I don't think he got away with it because I'm getting in the car. He's got the police on the phone, and I wound my window down and said, "You're gonna have to move so I can reverse out." And I could hear the police. See it on the speakerphone. The police said, "Can you pass in the phone so we can speak to him?" And I never took the phone, so I don't think I was actually trespassed. But they did attempt. Yeah. But I probably just won't go back to that store again. You know.
Exactly. With private property, it is open to the public, but it is private property, so they have the right to refuse service to anyone for any reason at any time. All you do is obey them if they say please leave, and that's that. If they say please leave and you leave, then there shouldn't be any issue at all. And even if the police show up, they will say, okay, so they left. But if they say please leave and you refuse to leave, you're trespassing. You may as well break in the middle of the night. It's the same idea of trespassing.
So if you do get trespassed from a store as well, and I watch a lot of crime videos too, so I know they can trespass you for maybe 1 year, and it's just that store. So if you've ever been trespassed, the police have to do it, not the store. So they call the police, and the police will trespass you. Ask that question: is it just for a year? Is it just the store? You know, I've never heard of anyone going to jail for putting a sticker on a so-called murdered animal part in a store. So if you don't like talking to people, you're afraid to talk to people, just Peter, these are free. These are absolutely free. I have hundreds and hundreds of these. Well, I reached out to Peter and they sent me hundreds and hundreds, but you can go online. You know what? I'll put a link in Matt's description below that you can click on. You put your name, address in, and they'll send you a bunch of these out for free. And you can just place them in the store. This is activism. It's planting seeds. You know, you're waking people up to the truth. So if you're a vegan at home, wow, this is powerful for you, right?
When I was maybe 8 years old or so, I remember having eggs and thinking to myself, if not for me eating this egg, they would have been growing into a living, breathing individual. So because I need to have this egg to survive, I won't take their life for granted, and I'll live my best day. Put this
start the process. Thinking.
Yeah, and it all floods back. I just wanted to ask you for some questions. Do you remember one of your earliest feelings of guilt for consuming animal products? Maybe,
Yes.
maybe
Yeah.
you didn't eat it, but just like an experience where you saw maybe a worm in a gutter drowning in the rain, or a sick rodent or something. Any sort of like guilt you ever felt for the animal?
Yeah, I think it's like something started to grow inside me, that like a guilt complex started to grow. And it was like every time I ate meat, I looked at the piece of meat on my plate and I thought, well, everyone else is eating, oh, it's food. And so now and again I would ask questions like, is this okay? Or you think this is okay what we're eating here? And of course, everyone around me is non-vegan. They're saying, yes, God says you can eat this. This is food. Everyone eats this. This is what else are you going to eat? You got a freezer full at home. You can't go vegetarian now. I tried to go vegetarian many times because of this guilt feeling within me, and the peer pressure of family. And wow, they all turn against you. So the day I went vegetarian, and I knew I was always going to be vegetarian, people started like thinking I'm crazy. Right. And then I watched a documentary called Dominion, and I was vegan right that next day. And I think like 2 weeks later, I was an organizer at Anonymous for the Voiceless on the streets. That's how fast, things happen. Two things I want to mention there. I was at a raffle. This is before I went vegan. I don't know. I was at a football game, American football game. I was watching a family member play, and there was a raffle. And I thought, oh well, the money got to charity, so I bought a couple of tickets, and I won first place. It was like £10 of steak, ribeye steaks, and I had to walk across the field in front of everyone to the box up at the top, and to get the steak from them. And I got it, and I'm feeling, that guilt, that it's not very big right now. It's still small inside of me, and I'm coming back, and I'm in front of everybody, hundreds and hundreds of people walking across the field, and people are clapping because I won. I get back to my seat, and I get home, and my father-in-law and me, we threw this on the grill, and I'm looking at it thinking, oh my gosh, this is a murdered animal that didn't want to die. And I didn't eat it. I think I hate to say this, but we kind of give it the dog. And then it was just shortly after that I decided I'm going vegetarian. That's it. Yeah, I want to give something back to this world, and me not killing. No one should have to suffer, right? Why should anyone? Let's say me and you right now, we fix the world's problems, and no one else suffers in the whole world. Unfortunately, love, for that to happen, one person has to suffer while everyone else has enjoyment and fun, and relationships, and what a beautiful life. No one dies, but maybe one animal over there has to suffer, and their life's going to be misery, the worst kind of misery you can imagine, that one animal. Then it's not worth it, right? No one should have to suffer for our pleasure and our taste, right? And it's kind of a hard world we live in, Matt. This is a non-vegan world, so emotions, in myself, and sometimes family members or friends kind of shut me down. I've got to know when to stop sometimes, so I don't get into trouble. Especially in my place of work. I outreach to people at work, but I can't call them a hypocrite at work. I have to call myself. I kind of reverse it around and say, I stopped eating animals because, I'm against this kind of suffering they go through, and I didn't want to be a hypocrite. I didn't want to pay for it to happen when I'm saying I'm against it. So, you can make up your own mind about that. But that's how I would word that at work. I can't call them a hypocrite. They'll go to HR and get me. But Oh,
I have infinite. There are 9 billion people on this planet, so I don't want to risk any friction in the necessities in my life. But with that being said, people always ask questions, and they are always problematic. Every roommate, every coworker I've had who found out that I was vegan, well, not every, I mean, half, I would say half, would cause problems. They would start spreading rumors or something, treat me differently, and I still just don't even bother. I give them zero ammunition. But even with that completely different mentality from what I'm like in real life,
mhm.
there's still a lot of issues all the time.
Yeah. Let me interrupt you real quickly there. So I want to interrupt you. So yeah, sometimes when I'm at work, and they serve like hot dogs and burgers for free for employees in the workplace, and I'll get in the line and say, "Oh, I'm vegan. What you got for me?" Oh, sorry. So I just go and sit down and I make it very clear that I'm vegan, and everyone knows at work I'm vegan. That's activism alone, right? That is activism alone.
I would be eating a field roast burger, and someone says, "Oh, where did you get that?" And I say, "It's a plant-based patty by Field Roast. You can get them at the following stores." And then they start asking me questions, and I just answer them. And even that always causes problems. So I don't talk about it because I don't need that in my personal life, and I'm usually burned out anyways and need a break from talking about animals. And I wanted to say a few things earlier about the guilt. It's like Kurt Cobain says, it's better to be hated for who you are than loved for who you are not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh, whenever your microphone's messing up, by the way, I'm going to try and take over talking. So when I try and take over talking, just to tip your microphone.
It's just for like 5 seconds. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
And as you were saying about the meat draw or the prize that was the meats, I think that context maybe got you to approach the situation a little bit differently, because now you're sort of like aware of how this piece of meat is different because it's a prize. So it's sort of like gladiators in the arena. It's like a blood sport sort of thing. And maybe psychologically you were looking at this meat and thinking, that's a prize? Like
All right.
a prize should be something,
Let me
a
share one
trophy
word
or.
with you. I'm going to share one word with you, and it's going to make you and me connect. And that's the word connection. Because we've been disconnected from the truth. We've been conditioned, we've been programmed to only think a certain way. Our parents that love us were feeding us murdered animals. They never showed you where they came from or how they were murdered or killed. No, because if they saw the truth too, they wouldn't be serving you this, you know. So this disconnection has gone on for years and years and years. It's like I hate to call non-vegans evil. I think a non-vegan is asleep, innocent, until they know the truth. I think once you know the truth, that's you accepting, okay, these are murdered and suffer for my taste and pleasure, and I'm willing to accept that. I think then you're cruel. And I use that word now, actually, when I'm ordering food. Instead of saying, do you have anything vegan? I said, do you have anything cruelty-free? because if I'm with people that consume animals, they hate it when I say that. Do you have anything cruelty free? Because they're going to choose cruelty, when they order. So
Yeah, I just saw a short film by Frank Native, The Disconnect. And The Disconnect is a 10-minute film about how most animals, ecosystems, and of all of nature has a symbiotic relationship or some kind of harmony. This wrench just thrown in and clogs up everything. So I feel that we all are capable of doing immense good for love and immense evil out of hate. And until we find
you think that's inside everybody, right? It is.
see it anywhere else.
I see that in everybody.
Absolutely. Everyone has a little Gandhi in them, a little Hitler in them, a little Donald Trump in them, a little comedian in them. I think if you can impersonate someone, you can already start to think like them. And if let's say you're surrounded by many versions of this person, or exposed to a certain,
Right.
let's say, Joe Rogan podcast, where it's all about glorifying blood sports and guns and violence and things like that, then you're going to be less sensitive because he's not very sensitive. But then if you're exposed to more like Oprah Winfrey or Martha Stewart, then that's going to bring out the more sensitive feminine side, so to speak. And with animal liberation, it just needs a spotlight. It just needs to live inside of people's minds. And we, as individuals and as a species, think about ourselves constantly. We think about our own lives, our own dramas. And it's just really, really important to
I think that's built into us, right? It's built, that selfishness is built into us. And I think it's, well, when it comes to food, firstly, it's because you have a stomach. And that stomach speaks to your brain and says, okay, give me something nice. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. I want this. Remember the taste of this? Go and get it, me. There's no escaping your stomach. In some religions, I don't know the exact scripture or verse, but there's a scripture in the Bible that says that men worship their stomach.
I've had conversations with people who literally, like, unironically believe that if it tastes good, if it feels good, it's good for you. And they're not saying, do what you love, live life. They're literally saying, I know best. My body's never lied to me before. If something feels good, it's good. And it's just such an incredibly uninvolved way of thinking. Just no foresight, instant gratification. And it's selfish and lazy. And yeah, I call them ironic when I can.
It's like, for example, if the government, American government, where I'm at, created a new food and they said, this is really good for you, we're going to give this out, it's really cheap, everyone will start eating it, and then they all die. A non-vegan, pretty much, you're sticking anything in your mouth, you don't know what you're eating, right? So, Matt, can we trust vegetables and fruits and potatoes? Can we trust that food? It's just coming out of the ground, right? It's not been processed or tampered with.
How do you feel knowing what you know and seeing what you see? Do you feel like I do, where it's almost like you're from the future and you're living amongst these peasants and mud
Yeah.
and you try to communicate to them how there's a better way, but they're just such like agents in the matrix, just such bots that try to correct the very system that enslaves them. And you're sort of like Neo and Trinity and Morpheus saying, like, wake up, you are asleep, wake up. Like, do you feel that frustration like I do, or is that just like one element? Do you have another angle? But what is it like to basically just go through the day to day and experience life as a vegan among non-vegans?
I mean, you know, the more I speak to people and the more I speak up, the more confident, the more bolder I get. It's the more people like, he's crazy. I'm, and then, you know, if enough people keep calling you crazy and crazy, you start to kind of feel a little
Oh yeah,
mental, you know, that
ostracized. Yeah.
And it's constant, the constant bombardment. A friend of mine recently, I'm not going to say the name, a friend of mine recently said to me, don't make any videos of yourself on YouTube with you in them. And then we can still be friends. Right? So I'm like, why? And then I found out she just thinks she doesn't want her family to see me.
Yeah.
She thinks I'm crazy. It's the crazy part. So make videos without me in them.
Okay, you're not, you know, promoting animal abuse. You're not on the carnivore diet. You're not telling people that eating 20 eggs a day is healthy. You are actually following the true logic, consistency with empathy and understanding.
Yes,
So
the core value. I mean,
she would never do it, so she doesn't want you to do it.
So when it comes to, and I've pondered over these things, you know, and even if I wanted to stop speaking, even if I wanted to shut my mouth and not speak up for animals, it can't happen because it just builds up and builds up. It's like being sick, but throwing up, right? It's got to come out. I can't keep quiet.
Absolutely.
When I sit down and I see people, say there's a couple next to me and having a conversation about what they ate last night, and oh, it was so good, and we cooked this and we cooked that, and I'm thinking, what the hell? Why having this conversation next to me? It drives me crazy. But in my mind, I'm waiting and I'm planning. I'm waiting for that. Somehow they're going to interact with me and the conversation, and something's going to happen. I'm always waiting and ready for that, no matter how burnt out we get. Always waiting and ready. It can happen anywhere. You can be in a restaurant or I don't know, just walking down the street and someone will come up and say, hey, do you know where this place is? And you go, oh yeah, I know where that place is. It's next to the vegan place. And they go, vegan? It just goes.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. There is always an opportunity to speak for the animals. There really is.
But I wait for it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just, I mean, sometimes when I get that overwhelmingness that I need to speak now, I might be in a grocery store and I'm just buying some groceries and someone comes next to me. I'm getting the coconut milk. That's my new favorite milk, by the way, coconut milk. Now, if anyone watching that's like thinking about, let's change the word from now on, Street Vegan. Let's change the word vegan to kind to animals. Can we do that?
Kind to animals.
Kind to animals.
I actually, I don't know if you ever read my posts, but I don't even use the word animal. I think it's degrading, like creature or beast.
Okay, let's use the word kind then.
Yeah.
Let's change the word vegan to kind. Let's change the word vegan to kind. Okay, so let me go with my story.
Yeah.
So when I'm in this grocery store and I'm buying kind milk, like coconut kind milk, so the person next to me is buying, you know, regular cow's milk, and I might say to them now and again, I say, "Hey, did you know that they forcibly impregnate these animals?" and this is what you're paying for here, and they kill the male babies, and they go, they're in shock immediately. They're in shock that I'm even talking to them, first of all, and then I'm waiting on that response. This is me. I'm overflowing with outreach and activism. I've got to speak to someone, and I'm on the spot, and bang, I went for it. It usually has a positive approach. They usually go, "Oh no, I didn't know that," or maybe they're lying. I didn't know that, and then I can go into the conversation and start showing them all these plant-based milks. Now, I know many people with these plant-based milks say, "Oh, I tried them, I didn't like them," but there's many to choose from, and once you choose the one that tastes nice, I stick with it. But it's not even about the taste; it's about the process that's hidden from you, the disconnection that I'm trying to share with you that you're not listening. It's like I remember showing someone slaughterhouse footage, and it was the most crucial part in the scene where a mother cow, I think it's in the Anonymous for the Voiceless clip, what they show on the street, a mother cow is sliced on the throat, and she's jerking around because she's still feeling the pain, and then they drag her up by her feet. It's horrifying. So I've had someone watch that, and then they say to me, "Well, what am I going to eat?" It's like they're not seeing the horror. They're just thinking about the stomach the whole time. What am I going to eat? Did that not affect you? You know?
Yeah.
So I think there's some people out there that can be. I mean, did your parents or any kind of family try and desensitize you as a child, like fishing or hunting or killing animals when you were younger?
All I can think about is my brother when we were like 4 and 6 years old. I was really young. He would kill ants with bleach, and my mom saw him do this one time, and just gave us the whole talk about not to play with chemicals. And it would just be like a trail of ants and splashing some bleach on them. And then I would ask him, "Can I do it? Can I do it?" He said, No, you're too young. And we never got hurt or anything. We just did it 2 times for like 1 minute. But I do remember that. And he's a huge animal lover. He adopted dogs, the fat old dog that nobody wants particularly. Very, very compassionate. He put up with me with a lot of my issues, and dated and ended up marrying someone who had a lot of a difficult life. And he was very empathetic, but also incredibly cold. Like it's definitely 100% sociopathic. And everybody, again, I believe, and I would argue this, that everybody has a little bit of everybody in them, and everybody has a little bit of every mental illness in them. Just look at somebody when they're hungry, they have anger. You look at the way everyone treats other animals, which, by the way, I just like to use the word individuals, unless I'm saying like animal products, marine animals. Like that's when you have to use the word animals. But when someone is consuming an individual's body, when someone is wearing an individual, they are being a sociopath. They are consciously turning off the empathy in order to do something that they otherwise would not do if the empathy was turned on, because we as humans just have to turn off our emotions. I live in a very busy city in Vancouver. I see people on drugs. I see people begging for money. And if I were to stop to help every single one of these people, I would have no life, because it's just endless. It's never ending, which I'm not saying that anyone should ignore these people or disrespect them in any way.
I agree.
But I'm just saying that we naturally have to be a little bit sociopathic and turn off our empathy. Even if you're on a hike and you feel your muscles are burning and you want to give up, you have to hurt yourself to get through the hike. You have to turn off your empathy that you have for yourself and say, you know what, my feelings, my comfort does not matter. it's about the goal. It's about getting this hike finished. So yeah, I feel like everyone's a little bit sociopathic, but my brother had this like switch, and I think I have it as well, where I'm very obvious about it. Where if I see an animal, I'll just, you know, it's like the baby voice comes out. Oh, sweetie, who's my little darling? You know, and then I'll turn around and see someone eating a burger, and they're laughing at me or something because we're doing like the cube of truth,
Right.
and I'll, you know, use my serious voice, and it's just like, and it's really just knowing when what is appropriate, or else that's when
Yes.
you could say that someone is crazy and out of touch with reality, where
Mhm.
they're just going around and being overly nice or overly rude. um, I find that's a huge challenge, because you can persuade yourself to be one or the other. Um, so yeah, but that was my thing. Yeah, we would kill bugs on like one or two occasions. But I also have memories of growing up and preventing other people from killing bugs. There was a kid in school who had collected snails, and they had a jar with about 20 snails. And my brother runs up to me and he says, "Hey Matt, I need you. Let's go get this kid. He's about to put a rock on top of this jar and smash all the snails." And we went there and we said, "Hey, back off, get away from these snails." And the guy let them all go, or at least that's how I remember it. It's such an
Wow.
early memory. And yeah, there was that, you know, compassion that was there.
Yeah, so I actually have a similar story about the ants, and I think this was one of the earliest memories as a child. So my friend, I think we were both around 14 at the time. I'd go around to his house. We'd walk to school together, and he
Yeah,
had ants in his kitchen, and they're all over under the sink. And he got a butane lighter, and I watched him do
yeah,
this. He letting the gas come out, letting the
yeah,
gas come out, and then lit it, and all
yeah,
gone. And I remember having that also feeling that you had. I wanted to try that. You know, I had no care for the ants whatsoever. I guess
yeah,
I think deep
absolutely.
down, I mean, where do we learn things from when we're growing up as a child? Is it the TV or our parents? That's all, and the school. Does school ever tell you that killing ants is wrong? Did they
Never.
ever tell you to respect life? No, they tell you to eat them, right?
Yeah,
Love this
yeah,
animal,
yeah.
kill this
You have hot
animal.
dog days.
They
Yeah.
have the pyramid in the school classrooms. This is pyramid thing that shows you a couple of healthy greens, some dairy products, and
It's
murdered
crazy.
animal
It's
parts.
crazy.
I
It's
shouldn't say murdered
crazy.
animal parts because non-vegans kind of find that offensive. So should I say
Well,
meat? Because that's not my goal
it
to,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Push
just
people away,
push
right?
people
And
away.
yeah,
I mean, if you're
yeah,
non-vegan
yeah,
and you're watching this, leave a comment below, ask a question, and we'll be sincere, we'll be respectful, and we'll answer it truthfully to the best of our knowledge that we can.
yeah. A lot of vegans, they genuinely just want to share their understanding, and they
Right.
genuinely care. Like nobody goes vegan. Well, maybe some celebrities. There's like a fad, you know, diet like for weight loss and stuff. But a true vegan,
No, you're right.
they
There's many celebrities, and I even know a few people that say I'm vegan, but I know they're plant-based because I remember this one vegan girl and her husband. I went round to their house for dinner one night, and I was so excited because they introduced me to a new store that sold a lot of plant-based foods, and I felt like, oh, this is great. Her husband wasn't vegan, so I'm outreaching. I can't control myself, outreaching to this guy, And he got so offended with me. And threw me out of the house, told me to shut my mouth and to go. It was crazy. But yes, the word vegan, if we define the word vegan, it actually means to cause the least amount of suffering towards animals. That's it. It's nothing to do. Well, it's partially. It's nothing to do with my diet, my health reasons. You may be on a plant-based diet / vegan diet for your health reasons, but yeah.
Well, if a side effect of that selfishness is saving more individuals from other species, then like more power to them. But obviously, we want pure vegans who really.
So Matt, I'm going to interrupt you.
Dilute the message. They don't water it down. Yep.
Matt, you know, most people, and I know you know this because you're a real vegan, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're in the same headspace.
You want to cause the least amount of suffering to animals, so I know you know this.
Yeah.
The number of people that you've spoken to on the street that argue, don't you feel like they're pre-programmed with negative answers? Someone programmed them to say, well, a lion does this. Everyone's doing this. They're all pre-programmed. Where are they getting these answers from? How can they be? You know, for us, we have to do our education. We do research. We figure out, kindness, compassion, and this is what you should do. And every conversation they have, they come out, they hit you with the same things. It's like they're a copy of everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel that when you're outreaching sometimes. It's this. It's like my son. My son's non-vegan. And I'm not going to force him to be vegan. I want him to. He has to grow into it. I can never make anyone go vegan. They have to change themselves.
Yeah.
So I remember when he was like so young, he said to me, "What about lions? They eat meat." Who told him that? Because that's not on TV. This is like pre-programmed stuff. Is it coming from the TV? Coming from the teachers at the school? You know, it's been handed parents. It's been handed down.
If you're looking for a genuine answer, like a real hard hitter, I'll tell you right now, most of the thoughts that we have are not original. We are not so special that we just jump to conclusions and invent a light bulb one day. It really is sort of a trial and error. And if you had the same experience in your childhood as Mozart or Beethoven, you would be on the piano right now. But because you're in the animal liberation movement, your focus and your exposure, your reality, your nurture is from nature and nurture is going to be the same as someone else. So obviously we can connect and understand each other, but also people who have sort of strayed off into a darker path where they go into like the carnivore diet, they will among themselves believe the same hocus pocus.
Mm-hmm.
So I really feel like it's just an unoriginal idea that maybe just within society, lions are always the example of predator, and what your son in this case, or anyone on the street using the lion analogy, means to say is, what about predators? Because they still see themselves as a predator, when really, sorry, I'm throwing a lot of different things at you, when really humans are prey. Like we find safety in numbers, we're submissive, we avoid confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of cultures find eye contact to be very rude because eye contact is intimidating. So even with eye contact, you have to kind of like gauge if you're looking too much. If the
let me interrupt real quickly. So
forehead or cheeks.
I have two.
I'm a talker. That's fine.
I have two cameras. They're right above here. I've got to remember which one. And
on your right hand.
Sometimes I'm watching you here. So I'm not being ignorant. I am watching
I'm
you.
looking here.
So I have to remember not to watch you when you're talking and look at the camera.
No,
it's kind of weird, you know, when you're streaming live online. But so I just wanted to bring that out. Sorry.
It's fine. You know, you're far away enough that I can't even actually see where you're at. It's
Oh,
totally
okay.
irrelevant. And actually, I kind of like how you do have it off center. It just adds a little dynamic. Like I'm very static. I'm just like dead on. I actually like how you're 45-degree angle.
Oh, I never purposely did that. It's just I just threw it on top of the monitor here.
Yeah. But yeah, with your son, obviously, I would say the same thing I did before, which is just save your strength for the other 9 billion
So,
people.
so I did have
If they already
something.
know what they need to know.
So I mean,
Oh, the lions and herbivore. Yeah.
so I mean, I see you as a very powerful voice in a non-vegan world, and I'm assuming, or maybe I'm assuming wrong. What about your family? Have they made the switch? Do you have any members in your entire family, cousins, uncles,
Yes.
anyone that are
Yes.
vegan?
I actually do. Yeah. It's kind of funny how we so just further back to the sort of original thoughts thing. We are very heavily influenced by what we think others think that we should do. So any decision we make is really based on what we want and what we think others, you know, we people please.
Right.
And we sort of, you know, again, in any environment, they say, look at your 5 closest friends. That's who you're going to become. So choose your friends wisely. And when I was a teenager, 18 years old, I went vegetarian for a year. And then my younger sister, by almost a decade, she was just like 9 years old at that time. And she saw me going vegetarian and talking about just why would I eat a steak? You know, why would I eat this egg? I actually don't even eat this stuff. I don't even eat the mock like milk. I haven't had like a milk for like
Really?
years. I just forget it. I just don't care about it. But uh, further to my point, she somewhere in her subconscious saw this and maybe saw me as like, you know, the big brother, the influencer. I got her into Marilyn Manson and she started to listen to Marilyn Manson and you know, you just kind of like influence each other. And then I stopped and I went back to meat. But she was about 20 years old and she went straight up vegan. And she had like 6-pack abs. She was juicing every day, just absolute prime for life, looking amazing. Just I remember her attitude was just everything was 10 out of 10. Like she was just crushing it in life, and her best self that she could be. And I asked her, so it's been a few months now. When are you gonna stop? And she's like, there's no way. Like what? And I said, well, do you seriously not get like headaches? Do you seriously not feel like lack of energy? Like you're really vegan? And she's like, yeah, Matt, I'm really vegan. Like
Wow.
I really don't have any animal products. And I said, no, but seriously, like you have to do something. She's like, you just pop a B12 once in a while and you're good. And I thought, oh my God, like I've been wrong. I've been wrong my whole life. Within like the month I went vegan. That's all it took was for me to realize that I literally don't have to consume animals, which is where everybody else is at. So um, I, uh, I do have my sister, so she made me vegan, actually.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's the only family that you have that are vegan.
Yeah, the other ones, you know, they're in their 30s and early
Right.
40s, so they started their families and they're just in this a different idea of who they should be. They think, you know, the most important thing that they could possibly do is be good parents, and they completely ignore the animals,
So
100%. Just
I mean,
it could not be more insignificant to them.
so sometimes I get these great ideas. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm gonna tell my friends this. I'm gonna tell my family this, and this is gonna work. I'm gonna put myself on the ledge, and they're either gonna reject me, and they'll be mad at me again, and maybe even worse, and never talk to me again. But if I can change the word in a little, maybe I can get one little seed in there. Because right now I can't get seeds in there, right? A closed-minded person, you can't get seeds in there. They just bounce right off, and they're totally not willing to listen. I even outreached to a guy at work, and I never worked with this guy before. It's the first time we worked. So I said, "Hey, my name's Brian. How you doing?" We shook hands. That sign of introduction is a sign of respect. So now we have to respect each other. I'm like, "Oh, so what do? You're from Topeka? Okay. Oh, you do that? Oh, nice. Yeah. My name's Brian. Yeah, I'm vegan. You ever heard of that before? The word vegan?" We got into this conversation. He was an avid hunter. He was telling me, "Oh, I hunt animals all the time, and I love steak. I love steak so much." So in my mind, I'm processing, like in computer, I'm processing this information in my mind. I'm not going to start yelling at him for being a hunter. I'm thinking, about responses and how I'm not going to outreach. This is not my only conversation. And that's very important with someone you're going to constantly interact with. This is not my only outreach event. I'm planting a couple of gentle seeds here, a gentle conversation. It's my friend now. We're work colleagues, and I'm going to build on this. And then slowly, and next time I'm working with the guy, I bring it up again. And hey, I can see the aggravation. It's like being an animal activist. You'll learn how to read a person's body language. Because they're lying through the teeth most of the time, but you'll learn how to read that body language, the aggravation. You see it immediately, and you can adapt, pull back, or push. I'm not saying I'm an expert on this. I'm saying I'm just trying to get it out, push the truth. Yep. In the Matrix that you mentioned earlier, it's all against us. The Matrix is changing constantly, and we're trying to push that truth out. And you can think of the best.
And they're just an agent
right now. The best possible line you can come up with right now. Push it out to someone, reject you for some stupid reason. They already have the answer.
Yeah, you know how the agents in the movie, which is just colloquialism for. Yeah, exactly. So anyone who discovers the Matrix has to be killed. That's basically it. And anyone who has these ideas of veganism has to be terminated. Like the whole concept needs to just not exist. It's like an extreme religion that believes that they should eliminate all other religions because their God is the only God. And, maybe he's judging you, maybe you are judging him, maybe you're not, but either way, there's that instant conflict. And yeah, it doesn't have to be that way. And as you know, there are butchers that went vegan. There are farmers that went from, exploiting other individuals into just mushroom farming. And of course, there are hunters that are very powerful animal liberation activists. So yeah, you really just, basically see this person in this stage of their life, but just really remember that you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. There's nothing you could say as long as as long as veganism exists, there's no objective wrong. It just needs to stay alive. It just
I think
has to exist.
I've been pressured. I've been outreaching on the street before. I mean, I was too young. I mean, in my veganism, as soon as I went vegan, I joined. I'm Googling animal activist groups. I found Anonymous for the Voiceless. I was an organizer within 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I didn't have a clue. What I watched Paul Bashir on YouTube. have a conversation. I thought, oh my gosh, that was so enlightening. I have to do that.
And then you're all, yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got the interview. It was a virtual interview like this, and some guys asking me questions. And
Cool.
I kind of faked that I know what to say because I watched Paul Bashir do it that one time. And so I got my first AV set up, and 2 people joined. I'm like, wow, 2 people joined. These are animal activists. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what a lot of pressure on me. I don't know nothing. So these 2
Hey, back it up. So what platform were you on? Was this like Facebook live stream, or what was this?
Oh yeah, it has to be Facebook.
Where did they join?
To join Anonymous
Yeah.
for the Voiceless, it has to be Facebook. So Anonymous for the Voiceless.
Okay, so
you go to
so you had a live stream.
anonymous.org, and if you're interested in joining Anonymous for the Voiceless, you go to their webpage, and they send you a link that sends you to Facebook, that sends you to your local Anonymous for the Voiceless group in your area.
Oh,
Right.
so you're
So-
representing Anonymous for the Voiceless.
So I searched for my area, and there was nothing in Kansas City. So I clicked. Oh,
You
okay.
make your own chapter.
Organizer.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I had the interview, and he clearly understood I was a vegan from the way I present myself. I kind of lied a bit about, yes, I'm very confident at talking to people, and I've never done it before. Anyway, I became an organizer, so I'm on the street, and I have this little 7-inch tablet. That's what I was going to show the slaughterhouse footage on. It was so sunny, you couldn't see a thing on the screen. It was a disaster the first day. The other 2 people that showed up, Daniel and I forget the name right now, but it'll come to me in a second. So we showed up.
It was a long time ago.
I made them wear the masks at first, and I'm there with. They're holding. One of the guys brought a tiny little laptop. It was so tiny, and the other person didn't bring anything. So it was just one tiny little screen. You couldn't see a thing because the sun was like blowing everything out. And I'm so nervous, and I really wanted to make this work. And I think throughout the 2 hours, that's our goal. 2 hours to be there. And we didn't even have a good conversation with anybody for that 2 hours, but we got to know each other. And then was Bianca and Daniel, and since then, Daniel is like, he's working on a farm sanctuary now. He's devoted his entire life to working on a farm sanctuary for rescued animals, and he's working with pigs, cows, and chickens every day, and that's what he wants to be. That's his life. He gave up on people activism because
Get me out of here.
having that conversation, he doesn't want to have them conversations anymore. He's pushed them aside. He just wants to be with the animals, loving them, protecting them, and feeding them, and it's like medicine. Don't you think it's like medicine? You know what? Sometimes I'm at home, I'm not outreaching, or I'm not doing any activism whatsoever. Start to feel sick. I think that's a good way to describe this analogy. And then as soon as you get out there, put yourself on the line in front of people and start to go, your Gary Arosky's speech. It's like medicine, and it's slowly coming into you. And then as soon as you notice someone watching in the distance or someone paying attention,
that's like,
it might not be the
fire,
conversation you're having right now with some idiot, some troll.
Yeah.
It might not be that conversation, but you see them listening, and they've been there more than 20 minutes now. And it doesn't matter if they come over or not. You can feel that goodness coming in because you're doing the right thing, right?
Yes, sir.
So
who's
programming you and me right now to do the right things?
It just makes sense. It just makes sense.
Programmed?
And it just makes sense for of course it is, and it just makes sense for people who have been lied to.
You mentioned earlier about the piano
liars.
Sorry,
it makes sense for us.
I'm very bad at interrupting, but you mentioned earlier about the piano player. So who programmed you and me? Well, did we have someone in our family many years ago that was vegan? Developed in you and me
for
to
me,
show. I apologize. I take that right back. Actually, did someone in our ancestry was kind, and they passed that down?
So of course, you know, there's like a selfish gene, and the selfish gene is what's
skipped a few years.
The dominant species. It was the caveman that went around and was sleeping around with the other cave women behind their cave wife's back that was able to spread their seed, right? While the noble, good, kind caveman would have his 2 or 3 kids eaten by lions. Let's say the unloyal caveman, the one which back then, honestly, we're all products of rape. And I'm sure that caveman went around just graping like crazy. And that's like the selfish gene just spreading. And, you know, it's survival of the fittest. Society is supposed to be an escape from the harsh cruelty and survival of nature. But you still see it today with businesses that flourish are the ones that steal from their competitors, or you know, capitalism and all the stuff. I'm not saying that crime pays, but a lot of powerful people are criminals, and it's just the selfish gene. But of course, some things just make sense, and they're undeniable truths, such as when you do good, you feel good, and when you feel good, you want to feel good more, and it just makes sense. For me, it was because my mom was religious. I'm atheist, but her always telling me about, you know, reasons to do better and have that self-awareness, that consciousness of how we affect others. That is probably honestly why I'm vegan. So whenever somebody asks me, hey Matt, when'd you go vegan? Why'd you do it? It's like, you know, there are subconscious reasons I may never discover why I really went vegan. It's never just like one day you just wake up and you're like, okay. It's been calculating somewhere. It's been stewing from many things, just like anything.
Yeah, I think actually before I went vegan, no one ever showed me a video or discussed any kind of anything before I went vegan.
You don't really need to see it.
Yeah, there was nothing. I think I did have a friend that was a vegetarian, and I think about a year before that, I said to her, "Why are you vegetarian?" I was impressed that she was in vegetarian. She's in vegetarian Christian. So I asked, I said, "Why are you vegetarian?" And she said, "Well, if we can choose something else, I don't think, you know, the animals have to die." I thought, wow, that was very impressive. And that itself actually planted a seed within me. It kind of helped me too, I think, come to my own decision. And I'm thinking, you know, I want to be like her, that kindness that she has there. I want to be like that too. And I always wanted to push myself to be vegetarian, but I had to give up something, right? I had to give up the taste. I think that's what it is. So can you imagine going home tonight? You've been a non-vegan your entire life. Everyone's non-vegan around you, and you come home. And no, I don't want that. Just give me a plate full of mashed potatoes and carrots. That's it. It's like you're being offensive now to everyone around you, you know, by making that switch. And when it comes to religion, oh my goodness! So I want to say firstly to people watching, I'm very open-minded, and the Mormon church actually came into my life when I was kind of young, like maybe 19, 20, and they came to me and said, "Hey, we're preaching the word of Jesus, the word of God. Can we come in and talk to you?" I'm like, "Come on in." I'm open-minded, right? So they came in and they're chatting with me. And wish I was.
And they say, "Give me a TV."
I was vegan back then, really. Oh my goodness, I would have so much conversation.
So they sat you down.
I know we call this, but anyway. So they came in, they're talking to me, and I'm thinking, "Oh wow, this God guy." I never really understood. And tell me this God guy, and I'm going into religion. They went away, and I'm gonna skip along like 20 years in a few seconds right now. So like 10 years later, this past Christian pastor knocked on my door, and I thought, oh my gosh, this was in a rough neighborhood. He's knocking on my door. This Christian pastor. It's like, hey, how you doing? I want to welcome you to the neighborhood. Can I come in and talk to you? I thought, wow, this guy is so full of kindness, compassion. He's brave. And I'm seeing all this in him. And he came in, he's telling me about God, and he's telling me about the free gift of eternal life. Because you know what? In life, and many people say, oh, I'm not afraid of dying. I'm a hard man. I don't care. I'm not afraid of dying. But the truth is, yes, they are. They're lying. So a free gift of eternal life, and I don't have to do anything. I can donate privately in a little charity box, and free gift of life if I just say I'm a Christian. Or so that's the kind of the Christian thing that I went through. So based on that, being open-minded and inquisitive, this is way before I was vegan. I started to study other religions too. Well, I did this part after being vegan, like Buddhism, Jainism, and they're all kind of the same process. Hinduism, apart from Jainism, really connected with me, that they don't kill animals. And I thought, wow, I need to be Jainism. And so I'm reading and learning about Jainism, and they don't believe in a god. Are they atheists? Is that right? Are they atheists, Jainism?
I actually don't know.
So, well, I mean, this is a great debate. We're open-minded. We're learning. I'm not saying go and join this religious group, but check them out. Read up on Jainism, because I read on them. They don't believe in a god. They believe in a soul, and they believe in the soul can reach liberation. I don't know what that means, but the word liberation struck me, being an animal activist. So anyway, that's kind of where religion goes. But do you think living in a world where we feel emotions, we feel like we can be manipulated? Like we all know we're going to die one day. And what do you think you can be manipulated to believe something that's in a book? It's a tough one.
Yeah, I think because back in the day,
Because you've no other choice, right? What if you don't believe in what I'm going to say? I'm just speaking on behalf of the Christian church, right? If you don't believe in what I'm going to say, you're going to hell. If you don't believe in the Christian church, you go to hell. It doesn't matter if you're kind, compassionate.
you either pass or you fail. You're either free or you're in jail. It's either heaven or hell. It's very manipulative.
Right.
And I personally believe that religion is a purposeless theory, proven without evidence, therefore dismissed without evidence, designed to keep the poor people from killing the rich. Opinion.
So,
whenever I do outreach towards someone who is religious, knowing that no religion mandates meat eating, I always play dumb and I say, so does your God force you to kill the individuals they created? And they always say, no. They just say it's okay. And that's immediately when I can say, okay, then God's off the table. Like,
some religions, yeah. Some religions, I think it's Buddhism or Hinduism. Yes, you are mandated to kill an animal for celebration on holy days. Yeah. It's mandated. Kill the animal for celebration to God. But can you see the manipulation here?
Yeah. So back in the day, we didn't have people dying in hospitals and livestock in factory farms and slaughterhouses, we would have people dying on the streets. People would watch their family members die. They were exposed to death. They would see the individuals they consume being slaughtered right in front of them all the time. Even as recently as America, 400 years ago, it was, I think 80% of the occupation was farmers. So just little small towns. We were surrounded by death. We understood death.
So how do you think,
people will
I'm going to
say-
interrupt you real quickly. How do you think when people are witnessing all that death, that through the years, the non-vegan movement has overtaken the vegan movement from all these many years?
just honestly, just uneducated. It's just veganism is like an evolution. It's an advancement.
Right.
The more you know, the better you can do. So these people literally didn't know any better. They barely even knew about bacteria, about little organisms that they can't see with the naked eye.
I mean,
So
but
if
if you see the animal being killed in front of you, and you're looking them in the eyes, and you see the life force drain from them, and the squealing and screaming, and the blood squirting
but they're
out.
just convinced they have to eat them, right? Like they have to do it. So
so they're not going
I really think that we don't inherently have an urge to kill an innocent animal. Like,
I mean, I have seen scriptures in the Bible where it says, if you reject these gifts from God, you're rejecting God. It's kind of manipulative. I think it's in First Timothy.
Well,
I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, well, the Bible was translated by dozens of people,
men.
kings, and it's really fable. And I just think that people are disconnected from death. So whenever someone says, "I'm not afraid of death," okay, let's throw you in the middle of the ocean and see if you're going to swim for it, or if you're just going to lay there and drown.
So
you are afraid of death.
I got a question for you. Can you define the word atheist for me?
I believe it's just non-secular. So someone who does not believe in a higher power, any sort of God. It's pretty much nihilism. It's just, this lifestyle and belief system where there's no objective meaning, purpose, fate,
right,
or mind controlling your destiny. It's very liberating.
There's a reason to ask you this, because I think most Christians think an atheist is like a Satan worshiper or something. But right, so an atheist is someone who doesn't believe what is in a book, right? That's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's all.
Right. So they're open. They're still open-minded. Now, if I showed you some truths that God was real, and you were, oh my gosh, that's right. Okay, you would change.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, of course.
You wouldn't close your mind off.
Yeah.
Right.
No, so, just like if an alien spaceship landed and they started talking telekinetically in my mind, "Hi, we are from the planet Glip Glop," I would say, "Okay, I believe in aliens." So
the planet Glip Glop?
It's just oh, you're freaking me out, Brian. Existential crisis here. What is real? My friends, my battery is dying, metaphorically, and my literal laptop. I maybe have 10 minutes left.
That's cool.
Is there anything you sort of wanted to summarize?
Yeah, I want to add something right now.
Throw out there until our next one.
Yeah, let me go and add something. Anyone that's watching that's non-vegan, or even vegan, Christian, Hinduism, Buddhism, any kind of religious people, I want you to try and think about looking at everything, not just what you've been taught or fed by your parents. Look at all the different religions. look at the food you consume on your plate and think about the consequences, the actions that happen before for you to consume that. And I've got a documentary that I want you to watch. It's called Dominion. It's free to watch. You don't have to pay. You just go to watchdominion.com. It's free to watch. Watch it. Make up your own mind. Because suffering's real, right? You've experienced it, and you've experienced pain, and you don't want to be there. The animals don't want to be there neither. So watchdominion.com. It's free to watch. This truth here that I'm sharing with you is hidden from you, from the meat, egg, and dairy industry. They don't want you to see this. That's why it's not on Netflix. That's why it's not on YouTube, not on these big TV platform channels. But it is on YouTube. Watch it. Watchdominion.com. And maybe you can come on the channel and chat. If you're vegan, well, how's your battery doing? If you're vegan and you don't know how to speak,
I'm good. I got a good 10 minutes. I got a good 10 minutes.
If you're vegan and you don't know how to speak up for animals and you just stay at home and kind of think, oh, I'm doing enough.
Get out there. Come on.
We can't do this alone.
It's
We're not
easy.
experts. Yeah, I'm not saying you have to go and stand in the street and have as much confidence and boldness as a street vegan here. But
or this Brian, man.
Can't you I put the link in the comments below. You click on that link, You've got the free warning stickers. Can't you just go in a store privately and stick it on?
Of course.
Right? You're not
It
going to
makes you feel like yourself. Brian, again, I'm sure you've had this experience as well. When that one person is giving you their undivided attention, and vicariously through you,
right,
the victims, their attention, there's nothing better. Like, it's such a satisfying, complete feeling.
It's amazing.
I feel like myself. Yeah, I feel like I'm alive. I'm living my purpose, my dream. A dream is not external. It's not a mansion. It's not fame or having Rihanna call you and beg to take you out on a date. Like, yeah, those could be like, but like a real dream, a real goal, that satisfaction of reaching that comes from within. And when you know that you're doing what you were put on this earth to do, there's nothing better.
Pins and needles on your arms as they're responding to your questions. Totally. You know, you feel it. It's like it's the medicine cleaning you. It's like, thank you. Yep. Thank you, Street Vegan. Thank you, Brian. Okay. And then it wears off. It goes away. No, you've got to do your activism.
But then you chase it. Right? Do you? Right. You do that? Well, you go, oh man, I can't wait for the next time.
I'm a little guilty. I haven't been out on the streets doing actual street outreach for a while because...
Me too. I sometimes take a year off, for sure.
By myself, I feel so much pressure by myself. When I've got a group of other activists with me, I use my negative, evil, greedy emotion within me that wants to show off. So when I'm showing off in front of animal activists, I come alive on the streets. I can say anything I want to anyone, and I become alive. And you can check out my channel, Brian Animal Activist, and scroll right down there. There's a whole bunch of videos of me having conversations with people on the streets. But I do use Anonymous for the voiceless. It's not an exact script, but let me turn that 20-minute conversation into like a 1-minute script of how I use it. So, okay, have you seen anything like this before on the screen here? These are animals being tortured. They suffer and they die for you. You think this is animal abuse? Are you against this? You are? Okay. So do you think you can be against this while still going into grocery stores or restaurants and paying for meat, eggs, and dairy for this? And they're like, oh, no, I don't think you can. Or they come up with some kind of like, oh, we have to eat this. So I'll overcome the objections. And then I'm going to okay. So what's the number one benefit for you going vegan today? What do you think the number one benefit is? And most people are totally selfish like I was. And I probably still am selfish. They always say, oh, well, my health. That's the number one benefit. For me, going vegan is my health. Okay, well, that's a bonus. That's a bonus for you, for your health. But Actually, well, first of all, for the animals, they don't have to suffer because of you anymore. And then the actual benefit is you don't have to be a hypocrite, just like me. You can't pay for these animals to have their throats slashed open and they drown on their blood and scream and cry while you're paying for their flesh to be put on your plate and eat it. It's a heavy price for what you say you're against, but you're doing, right?
Yeah,
So what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Point of view.
You think you're going to go vegan today? Okay, well, just remember, for every day you're not vegan, you are directly responsible for this. Now, doesn't matter what we're talking about, I'm always pointing at the screen. I'm always trying to keep them watching because sometimes they turn off. They're not listening. They keep their conscience tucked in like a turtle shell. They're down in there. They're not going to pop the conscience out. You know, they're hiding it. So I'm always getting them to watch that screen because when they go home, I think their eyes are like a mirror. So, I mean, the goal of Anonymous for the Voiceless is they're holding up a mirror and they're trying to get to show you that you are responsible for this. I was responsible.
Psychologically, when someone is in a room with mirrors and they can see their own behavior, they behave more respectfully. There were psychologists who left children with cookies on the table, and they said you can have one cookie. And when there was no mirror, they had plenty of cookies.
Yep, I see.
When there were mirrors in the room, so it's great. You nailed it. That's the Paul Bashir method, so to speak. And from start to finish, you absolutely nailed it. Right down to keeping them accountable and confirming at the end, what are you going to do now?
Yeah. I just want
to don't just let them say, "Oh, maybe I'll do."
Just to add on that. So my activism, what I'm doing right now, is I do a lot of the sticker activism. I go a lot of public places like hospitals, libraries, laundrettes, and I ain't got time to show them right now, but I have a lot of flyers and magazines and booklets. I just leave them laying around in public places. Like the library is the best. If you go to the food section, how to cook food section, you can open the books and put little leaflets and flyers in.
Spot on. I love it.
So that's what I got going on right now. And then I'm always open-minded and I'm listening to people and I'm waiting for that conversation to spark when someone says like, hey, what's that on your arm there? Oh, so I got 3 tattoos for a reason, right?
I noticed.
The first one I got here is vegan. So I got this because it's a conversation starter. Right? I don't care about me. I put Brian there. What would I gain from that? So I put the word vegan, and when they go, "Oh, that's nice," yeah, it's the word vegan. You know what the word vegan means? It's conversation. And then I got this. This was my second one. It's warrior. So I usually go from this conversation to this one. This is why I speak up for animals, right? Yeah. And then I got this one on here.
You are a warrior.
This is Sanskrit, the original first ever writing from a long time ago, and it means the word ahimsa. Ahimsa is to live a life of kindness towards animals and all people as well. It's kind of both. It's a huge word, and I only got this put on here in case I meet people in this religion. That's it, and they're the only tattoos I have. I wouldn't. It cost like $1,500 for these. It's such a rip-off. But yeah, there we go.
I personally, I want to get the Moby tattoo, animal rights.
Yes. Oh, animal rights right across here. That would be cool. Yeah.
Oh no, it's just down. But he also does have, I think, something
There's a
else
few
there
people
too.
that have animal rights here as well. But I think you want it where it's promoting a message to non-vegans can see. Right. I have a friend, my friend Daniel. He loved this one so much. He had it put on his face across here, and he has the words cruelty-free down here like this in a line down his face. Yeah. He has Animal Liberation, 269, all over the place.
He's like a NASCAR for promoting.
Completely covered in tattoos. And you know what? I think the best thing about putting tattoos all over your face is it's going to keep you safe. No non-vegan's going to hire you and then trick you into selling non-vegan products, or it separates you, I think. But
a quick caveat:
I don't know about
every single person regrets their face tattoo at some point. Even if it's just for a moment. So start small, and just remember you have your entire body to work with. Right. I think people who do that are just in this passionate mood. My favorite band used to be Evanescence, and I wanted the name of the band across my back with angel wings. And thank God I didn't do that, because then it became Disturbed, and then it became this and that, and I just yeah. But I wanted to ask you one more really quick question.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you go down the comment section of any video, you'll see someone who's sort of thinking what you're thinking. And I really do believe, not to discredit like free will or anything, but that we don't really have original thought. It's very difficult to invent something or come up with like an original idea or joke. And when you go through the comments, you'll usually see someone who said something that you were thinking, like, oh, legend has it, this is still happening, or whatever. And I just wanted to know, in the realm of like, you know, we found each other in this umbrella of veganism. And I'm just curious, like, really, if you could just take a moment, if we could just take a breath and slow down, I want you to really think about this. When you were a child, did you have any pets, companion animals?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you have like lizards, or what were they?
Well, let me tell you a story real quick. I had a dog called Princess.
Yeah.
I love Princess more than
duck
in the world. Yeah, a dog.
A duck?
A dog.
Oh, a dog. Sorry.
Yeah. So I loved Princess more than anything in the world. And one day, I don't know who programmed me to do this, but one day I'm sitting outside the house stroking my dog, and someone's walking along the street, and I'm saying, "Go get them! Go get them! Attack them! Get them! Get them!" I let go of the dog, and the dog goes attack them. Dog doesn't bite them, but I don't know who programmed me to do that. But anyway, my dog got messing around. My dog got put down.
Oh, God.
The police killed my dog, and that was an experience. I'll be honest. I was upset at the time, but I don't really remember the emotions too much. You know, it was such a long time ago. I think once we get, I remember my mom's divorced, and she's dating this guy that works in a slaughterhouse, and he would bring on animal parts and they boil them up on the stove. And I remember him pulling my sheep's eye out, saying, "Oh, look at this," and eats it. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing?" This is desensitizing people. So I think for you and me, I'm surprised that you haven't been attacked, desensitized, people trying to desensitize you as much. Because I've been non-stop attacked my whole life about people trying to desensitize me. One thing that really struck me and touched my heart about you, and that's why I'm so passionate about your activism, is when you did a video once. You're in a grocery store, and you're slow panning the camera across the meat there, and you're looking at the camera, and there's some sad music playing. And you walk up to a guy and say, "Do you know what you're buying here? You know the consequences of this, and you're directly responsible for this."
And he goes, "I am, actually."
He was terrified. Yes, and then he left. But he's always going to remember that moment, right?
Yes.
Always.
And can I tell you, behind the scenes, okay, what happened here is that I'm.
You were crying when you come out. I watched it. You were crying when you
I'm very. I mean, you could, yeah. And so I'm very adamant about pushing people to do veganism. because I myself need a push. And when I watch these videos, like you said, Paul Bashir is a really good one. They push me. They say keep people accountable. And the local vegan from another city, but still pretty close, about 2 hours away, said, okay, so you think it's so easy? Why don't you and me have like sort of like a battle and see who can get someone to go vegan faster? And so I said, done. And they said, well, come on down to my
Speak
city.
louder. Your microphone's bubbling up.
Okay, sure. Sorry. I know that PewDiePie got kicked out of his apartment for talking too loud, so I'm trying to keep it down. I'll need to insulate the space so I'm not too loud. But I accepted the challenge, but virtually. And I said, go and just show me how fast you can get like sort of like a vegan response. And I put my phone in my pocket. I kid you not. The very first store I saw, I walked into, the very first person I saw, I approached. And that was instantly 45 seconds. And they said, you know what, I'll think about it. I'll go vegan. And even though I don't believe them, he's probably
Right.
eating
It's because they're scared. Yeah, they're scared.
But the point is that maybe he did go vegan. Because here's the thing. Here's the craziest thing behind the scenes. You'll never know about this. He was holding one bag of, it looked like oxtail, or it looked like
Right.
spine, like bone marrow or something, like chunks, like hard chunks. It must have been bone. And he was comparing to another. And these are just bags of blood with bone. And he was really weighing them out. And the whole time I'm just sort of panning my phone around the meat section and slowly approaching this person. He's weighing them out, and it's not like he's hesitating buying one over the other because of the price or trying to find the right value. I swear I have this feeling that just maybe
He's waiting for you.
kind of gross. And it's like, it's exactly like as if I needed to go there and be like, hey, bro, put this shit where, like, get it out of your life.
You know, earlier you said you're an atheist, and I sometimes feel I believe in a God. Okay, so we'll just leave the religious part out there. So I sometimes feel when I'm outreaching in the street and I've had a good conversation or something happened, like you're just explaining, it was meant to happen. That person was put there. He don't know what he's doing. He's programmed. Don't know what he's doing, and he's been put there because maybe someone saw some kind of goodness or something in his heart, something about him that maybe you're going to approach him and share something. You know, I'm not trying to.
I went on my knees and I begged him and I said, just stop. Really go vegan.
Wow.
That's not something that happens every day. And
Wow.
he genuinely felt it. Like it was enough that, it just look into my eyes and like understand that it's not okay. And this is what activism is all about.
Right.
I just want to get back to the pet thing really quick though.
Okay.
When you were with your dog or some kind of like fish or a lizard or a bunny, did you ever have the same thought I had, which was, are they conscious? Are they real? Like, did you have the same sort of
Wow.
debate in your head? Like,
I can't believe you asked me this.
yeah, like, did you
Right.
actually
So
say to them,
let me
it's
skip.
not right? Like, is it true they don't go to heaven? Or are they going to be in heaven with me?
Let me skip forward about 20 years here. So I'm in a little tiny church in Scotland, middle of nowhere. No one goes there because everyone's out in the streets drinking, taking drugs. I'm the only person in the church. It's on a Wednesday evening. It's Bible study. I'm searching. I'm analyzing. I'm searching for what's real, what's not real. So I'm in the church, and the pastor's playing some lovely songs. It's just me and him, and I became such a good friend with him. And this only came real to me after I went vegan. all these thoughts flooded back into me after I went vegan. And let me start the process. So I had this dream when I was a child that I'm in a dark room. It's pitch black. And there's a guy stood next to me going, "This is Brian." Yeah. And everyone's cheering. And then he's got a knife and he's slicing my foot. And I'm screaming in agony. And all the people watching me are laughing their heads off going, "Yay, this is awesome." And I panicked and then that dream ended. So, and then the other information that came back from my previous life before I went vegan was, I remember my interactions with this church pastor. I remember asking him a question. "Do you think dogs have souls?" And his response was, "I don't know, Brian." This is a leader of the church. He never said no or yes. He said, "I don't know, Brian." And I think he was brought into my life to make me question myself. He said, "I don't know." Very important in my life, that I don't know. And then later on, I invited him round to my house for dinner, him and his wife, and they came round. And this is still very important to me. They came round and I made them broiled fish. I broiled some fish under the grill, white fish with vegetables, and I served that to them. They ate the whole thing and went home. They did a little Bible study and prayed, but that's not in the story. So anyway, the next day I see the pastor and he goes, "Hey, I want to thank you for inviting me and my wife around, but just for future reference, we're vegetarian. We don't actually eat animals." I went, "Oh, okay. You should have said something." He went, "Well, we'll eat fish now and again." So I've been doing lots of research on Christianity, different religions. Now, back in the early days before religion got, I would say, corrupted, the original followers of Jesus used to identify themselves with a symbol of a fish. When they're sharing the truth, they would identify it with a symbol of a fish, not a cross. And I somehow feel, him coming to my house and eating a fish was something that would stick in my memory. And all this came flooding back to me right after. It's like the day after I went vegan. Isn't that weird? The dream.
Well, it's a very emotional time. It's self-reflection.
Right. But it's like makes the dots, all the dots line up, Very powerful.
I'm listening and I'm paying attention, but I don't think I got your point, to be perfectly honest. So can you kind of repeat this? So they came and they ate the fish, and then they confessed that they usually don't eat fish. And I'm just curious, what are you trying to communicate about this?
Oh, yeah. I think some of the religious Christian leaders, they come to you like Jesus back in the day. I actually believe Jesus was an animal activist, and he's the one who stood up to the authorities and tried to tell them, "Hey, stop the sacrificial system. This is wrong. Stop killing the animals." He opened the cages out of the temple and let them all go. And he was murdered for doing that. So when people say, "Oh, you should love Jesus because your sins are forgiven. You can carry on murdering animals and doing all the sneaky stuff behind your family, and you're forgiven because you believe in this story in a book." But this story can be manipulated to make you evil. Can we be manipulated to be evil or good? Who would want us to be evil or good? What's the purpose in anyone above us wanting me and you to be evil or good? I don't get that, right? So anyway, I feel that story is a direct descendant of Jesus showing himself before me, and the symbolic of the fish that would stick in my memory. Fish. Because in the Bible, the true followers of Christ right in that day would represent themselves as a fish, not a cross.
Okay.
know what I mean?
I see. Because in Christspiracy, I know my documentary. So in Christspiracy, they say that the word fish isn't literally fish.
Oh, it's for seaweed or a relish. It can be seaweed or a relish, right? Yeah, the word's been changed. And I've read the Bible, in depth, and even the feeding of the 5,000. God said, "Okay, bring the bread, raise the baskets of bread," and it's like someone wrote on the end of it, "and fish," right? And there's other circumstances in the Bible where someone's wrote at the end, "and fish." Okay, you know what I mean? Was that the fish industry? The fish industry said, "You know what? We've donated enough to your church. Go ahead and put the word "and fish" at the end."
It can literally just be someone who's invested in fish, and they say, "Oh, and by the way, the 11th commandment: buy fish from my store."
Wouldn't that be funny? On the back of the Bible, it said like, "From this Bible is free from your local fishmongers." No, they hide that crap because they want you to think. They want to take away the guilt, the blanket of guilt, and let you know this fish is not an animal. No, it's not soul. It's just a product. It's just something from the ground, and it's food for you. But I mean, right? So how do you think outside that? How do you think?
The fish were here before us by hundreds of millions of years, and just like technology, like computers, the more advanced they are, the smaller they get. Just
Right.
because a fish has a small brain does not mean that they don't compute as much as we do. In fact, it's been proven that other species are more in the moment, they're more aware, they feel things more viscerally, they're aware of their senses, and human beings are sort of numbed, and they're always sort of thinking about the past or the future. And really, I would strongly argue that a fish may be even more conscious than a person sometimes, just
Oh
because
yeah,
we're
sure.
so overwhelmed with doing all these things that our ape mind isn't supposed to be juggling and running at like high capacity all the time. I'm just going to kind of like fly through this, but also the fish. Oh, it's been a long one. Maybe we'll just wrap it up there.
Yeah, that's good. I think as a non-vegan, I think as a non-vegan, I challenge people to be open-minded, and maybe you're in the matrix right now. Stupid, right? Is that a stupid comment? It might be, but check out that documentary, Dominion. Watch Dominion.com. Check it out.
It's not necessarily like you're in a simulation. It's just
I'm going to put a link in the comments.
in a world that has been designed for you, and you are a personality with a history that has been designed for you. And it's very true because
Right.
we just are. I mean, look around. Like we're all different in our own ways, but we're also exactly the same in so many other ways. And there's a reason. But I remembered what I was going to say about the fish really quick. I'm just going to fly through this. I don't want to get too into it, but there's a quote. It's not science-based. Like, I don't think this is real because just disclaimer, humans use 100% of their brain 100% of the time. But there's this old idea that we only use something like 5%. But with the science aside, just take the metaphor of this, okay?
Okay.
So a dolphin uses about like 60% of their brain when they're awake, and when they're asleep, they use about 20% of their brain.
Right.
So a sleeping dolphin is more conscious than an awake person using 5% of their brain. The numbers are off, but I promise you, if you look at a dolphin's brain compared to a human's brain, I mean, it's pretty easy to see. So we're not that special, and we need to respect even the little fish.
That's awesome. Yeah, other species.
Yeah, that was it.
Hey, do me a favor,
my man.
Do me a favor before you go. On YouTube, you sometimes have to enable people to write links in your comments. So I put two links in your comments. YouTube might remove them. Okay. So I've got a link to Free Activism stickers and at watchdominion.com. So if anyone wants the stickers, they're free. And there's the documentary for non-vegans or even vegans if you haven't seen it before. It's an eye-opener. And the meat industry, egg industry, dairy industry, they're not going to get away with this anymore. Watch it.
Oh, no.
And join us, right?
That's right. And Robert Banks has enormous stickers. He transforms mailboxes and street furniture into material used for activism. So check out Robert Banks as well. Thank you so much, Brian. It's always an honor and a pleasure.
Yeah, nice. Thank you.
WatchDominion.com, guys.
All right.
Thank you. Take care.